What's up, everybody? I'm Jonathan Sewell Sales at Mitchell Mazda on the Boulevard in Enterprise, and today is our Mazda Passion Series episode 5. And it seems like we get a lot of Mazda 3s, and it is the number one selling Mazda in the world, or was for a long time. So that's probably why we have so many. But today we've got Aaron Dorsey all the way from Ohio, and his is not a typical Mazda 3 hatchback because he's done a lot of modifications to it, which I think you're going to love. So if you want to join me in a conversation about your Mazda Passion, go ahead and email me at this email down below, and we'll get together and talk about it and share it with the channel. So without further ado, here's Aaron and me sitting down talking about his Mazda 3 and our Mazda Passion.
I guess just a little intro. My name is Aaron Dorsey. I'm out in Central Ohio, Columbus. Uh, I drive a 2019 polymetal gray premium trim, 6-speed manual, a Mazda 3. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but it's always fun to say.
Yeah.
I actually have two kids, a 10-year-old son who is 5'3". I'm 6'1" myself. My wife is like 5'11", 6 foot. And
Okay.
we also have a soon to be 4-year-old in March. And she, I guess, is the only normal one height wise. But we all fit inside the Mazda 3 just fine. Don't pay attention to what the hoodie says on Amazon. I used to work there. I actually
Okay.
now work for Facebook in their data centers. So no, I don't rub elbows with Mark Zuckerberg. Because of the pandemic, I haven't had an opportunity to actually meet him in person. But yeah, I at least make sure the website stays up for you guys.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Now, are you located in Ohio?
Yep,
Okay. All right. I thought that was the case.
yep. I actually drove my Mazda. I bought my Mazda brand new April 24th, 2019, with 36 miles on the odometer. By the time I signed the paperwork and after the test drive, I had 42 miles on it when it was all signed over to my name. And I bought it from Brown Chantilly Mazda.
Okay.
Uh, just a shameless plug. Shout out to my salesman, Connor.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've actually heard that dealership's name before.
Oh, yeah. I literally drove there on a whim. I was bored. I had a 2010 Mazda 3 2.5 liter automatic. Um, I had paid it off, had nothing else to do. Wife was on vacation, and I decided, let's see what's at the Mazda dealership. I want a manual. I haven't had one in a few years, and that's where I found it. The only polymetal gray and the only manual in the state of Virginia in 2019, at least until September, August.
Well, that color combination is a little bit rare, and then the complexity of the manual just makes it very, very small percentage.
Yeah, I just wish I'd waited for the red interior, but oh well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got a great looking car. I've seen some pictures, and I'll put some up here as well. And moving on down here, what first drew you to the brand? Was the 2010 the first one you had?
No, this is actually my third Mazda that I
Okay,
own.
cool.
My first Mazda I ever owned was a 2003 Mazda Protege 5, 5-speed. And I actually got that because from a previous relationship, my son's mother called me and said, "Hey, I'm pregnant." So I drove to CarMax of all places and traded in my 2000 Trans Am, which I miss.
I bet so.
And I was just looking through the pictures. I'm like, I want a hatchback. I want something manual. Don't really like the color red, but then I saw this bright red Protege 5, and yeah, it was a snowball effect from there. Short throw shifter, speed conversion on the motor and transmission. I tried doing an all-wheel drive swap, but I was still a broke college student, even though I was fresh out of college. But yeah, had that car, ended up blowing the motor up after 5 years of ownership.
Mm.
And then I had a few other domestic cars, which I won't divulge which part of GM they were, but there's a bow tie on the emblem.
Mm.
Went through 3 transmissions in 9 months and
Oh,
said,
wow.
"Hey, I'm not doing that anymore." And I
Mm.
found the 2010, and I always, for some reason, I liked the Gen 2 from behind, but I hated the smile up front. Then I bought the car, and I hate the front less. But yeah, that was more of a family vehicle. Just did intake, rims, lowering springs, stainless steel lines, basic suspension mods, nothing too crazy for power. And yeah, I just got tired of driving automatic. It had 268,000 miles when I traded it in,
Mm.
and it still ran as if, I had just picked it up with 30,000 miles on it.
That's cool. So when you went to look for perhaps a new Mazda 3, the manual was the main motivator, and then you saw the polymetal gray, or did they have multiple manuals there?
Uh, so I originally went there. I really, really fell in love with the deep blue mica, like the crystal mica. It was something about the little gold flake in it just really drew me in. And I went there, looked at all the cars. I'm like, oh, cool, all-wheel drive, but it's automatic, whatever. And I just happened to get stopped by a salesman. And I said, yeah, I'm looking for a manual transmission. I really don't care about color or anything like that. I want a manual, thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to score a polymetal because I'm not that cool. And it just so happened to be the only manual on the lot. And I'd gone to Subaru previously because I still wanted a manual, but I wanted, all-wheel drive turbo, the things everyone wants that's a car enthusiast. And they told me no. And I was like, all right, cool. That's when I went to Mazda, and they said, yeah, we got you, no problem. And that just solidified, yeah, brand loyalty is probably going to be my next vehicle, be it a 5, 9, or even if they somehow release the BT50 here in the States.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think that would be on everybody's list if it was coming.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I know the answer to this question, but what is your favorite feature of your current car?
I know you're thinking it's the transmission. It's not.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was wrong then.
The favorite feature of my car is probably also one of the most annoying ones, and it's the front radar system.
Okay.
When it's working, it's awesome. It's phenomenal. But there was a learning curve of anytime it rains or anytime you would think you would need it the most, well, that's when the sensors block.
Right.
But I still love that. Just being able to quickly look and have that confirmation. Am I really as close as I think I am? Or maybe I should set my cruise control a little bit closer because someone's tailgating me.
So is that just some of my driving around? I love the cruise control aspect. However, sometimes even if I'm just my driving habits have to change a little bit because I've locked up the ABS sometimes. Just when like I'm just not touching the brake because I'm going, 15, 20 miles per hour and someone's stopping in front of me, but that's the system. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, a few times actually before the recall about how sensitive the system was. I was in the car with my wife and daughter, and we were doing maybe 5 to 7 miles an hour in a parking lot, and someone drove in front of us, backing out of a space. There was still plenty of time to react, but the car dead stopped and stalled out because my foot wasn't on the clutch.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that in a manual, and I know it would be frustrating, but I'm afraid, and it's safe, right? It's new technology, it's active safety, but it's kind of one of those things where I've locked it up and nosedived a little bit, and I'm afraid someone's just going to get me from behind one time. I know the brake lights come on and everything, but so it really has helped me change my driving behavior. And even if I see someone and I'm like, well, they're going to be gone by the time I get there, I go ahead and touch my brake a little bit just so the system knows that I'm paying attention.
Oh yeah, I keep my system on its toes as well with the lane keep. Even with truckers and some cars swerving a little bit too close into my lane for my liking, I'll just go ahead and edge over to the left or right, whatever direction I need, and the system yells at me, shakes the steering wheel. I'm like, well, I'd rather not hit him.
So with your position, you work from where you're at now?
Yes, I have the ability to work from home, but a lot of my job entails me actually going to the data center to
Okay.
perform work. So I get a good, 35, 40-minute commute every day.
Okay. So is that mostly freeway, interstate?
Yeah, it's 3 stoplights the entire drive, and it's all just right off of an exit. And I love it. Every single morning, there's this tunnel that I go through, and just with the exhaust and the other modifications I've done, it just hits this perfect resonance where you can almost hear, as cheesy as it sounds, you can almost hear like a low revving 13B going through that tunnel.
Hmm. Now, since you brought that up, tell me a little bit about the modifications you've done, because it's pretty extensive.
Um, I keep telling myself I haven't done that much, I haven't spent that much, but then actually wrote it all out. And yeah, I vinyl wrapped the entire interior. So anywhere that was piano black is covered in a custom carbon fiber vinyl that shifts colors between blue and purple. I have a 380-gram shift knob from Corksport uh, that is, adjustable in weight as well. I have ASA GT13 18 by 8 plus 45 offset bronze rims. I have the stock calipers on the car, but I painted them purple with a G2 caliper paint. Cork Sport front strut tower bar, which I helped with the testing on that, as well as their intake for the fourth gen Mazdas. I was one of the few manuals, so I helped them figure out why some of the automatics were throwing codes and, just tried to help out. So shout out to Corey and those guys out there in Washington.
Cool.
I have their axle back exhaust as well. And the only other mod that I can remember other than tent on the windows is I removed the resonator from the exhaust system as well, which I love. My wife is not a big fan of when I leave in the morning for work because it shakes the house, but I haven't gotten too many complaints beyond that.
Okay. Well, you definitely need to update me with some pictures on those things, at least of the interior, so we can see all the carbon fiber stuff. That'd be
Yeah,
pretty cool. And maybe a close-up shot of your wheels and the calipers there. 'Cause I'm
yeah.
looking at a few of those pictures now, and they look pretty cool, but I think a close-up shot would be appreciated.
I'll go ahead and get that sent out tomorrow. My car is
Okay.
a
Yeah,
little
no,
bit
no problem.
salt stained right now, so
Yeah, yeah,
I'll have to get her a bath first.
yeah. I hear you. No problem. So, what connectivity features do you use?
Uh, Actually, all of them. I don't have the wireless charging, but I plug my phone in religiously. Every time I get in the car, it gets plugged straight into Android Auto. Before I had an Android, it was Apple CarPlay. So either system really works fine for me. I did notice with Apple, it's just a little bit more user friendly, especially while driving. Because with Google, you kind of have to know your menus by heart and to be able to operate the entire system without crashing. But my phone, as much as it annoys me whenever I do stall the car out, which it still does from time to time, it'll say critical vehicle malfunction, or we notice your doors are unlocked, which has really saved me a few times where I thought the doors locked and they didn't. And just being able to, lock the doors or check on the status of my car from my phone,
Yeah.
it's such a great feature. I actually on Saturday bought my wife a new car. Sadly, I couldn't talk her into a Mazda, but she's learning. And even that, her car, it came with the connected app, and just hearing her go on and on about it, seeing that joy for the first time of like this thing, I can start my car. and I'm in the house. Like, yeah, technology.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, if you don't mind sharing, what brand did she get?
She went with my second favorite Asian brand, which is Kia.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
she she had a Hyundai Elantra, which I don't fault her for because I owned two of those in college. She went from that to a Kia Soul, and she decided she needed all-wheel drive, being in Central Ohio where it snows. And we got a 2021 Kia Seltos.
Okay.
And the only selling feature for that for her was the heated seats.
Mm.
But for
So,
me, it was the turbo.
right. So everything else has kind of been an added benefit for her.
Right.
Yeah. So, does your app and setup still have a start stop button?
So I wonder if I can get this to show up on camera. It has a similar layout,
Okay.
but it doesn't actually have like start stop there. It
Okay.
has the remote feature here, but
Okay.
you just have door lock, unlock, your hazard buttons, and then panic. I believe, based off of what I've seen online on the forums and Facebook, that start stop is right where it says Mazda in the
Right.
center.
That's right.
I wish I had that. I'm trying to figure out a way if I can trick the computer into allowing me to have that, but I'm not that good into programming.
Yeah, I understand. I was curious because it's been asked, and since it's a manual, what features are there?
Yeah,
Um,
you get 99.9% of the same features as the automatic versions. The only thing you're missing is that start stop button, but
right.
everything else is there. I know I have 58,711 miles on my car because of the app. That for some reason my left front tire has 39 psi, but everything else is reading 38, and I have 35% fuel left. So I'm probably getting gas when I get that car washed.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right. Well, Mazda, as you well know, says that they improve the lives of drivers by creating a better vehicle. Now, you have personal experience of going from one generation to the next. So, how is the new generation a better vehicle for you?
You know, I understand where all the haters and doubters are saying with the rear suspension being devolved to what it is now. You don't feel it. You don't feel a difference at all. If anything, the car feels like it's even tighter while it's driving. Um, you you may not have that raw punch in the gut acceleration that you would get from like your Gen 3s and Gen 2 Mazda 3s that a lot of people are saying about on the forums. But what you are getting is what I prefer in a vehicle, more of a sleeper feel where I'll punch it. And if it weren't for my loud exhaust, I'd look down and be doing 100 miles an hour and not even know it.
Yeah, it's I think it goes to their, whether you talk about G vectoring control or just the overall human centric design, that you can quickly accelerate and not even feel it in your hands. Not even, I mean, it's just the same feel, and it's very comfortable. And that's kind of one of those things you just look up and, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Because you don't feel it as much.
Exactly. And that's probably one of the things that I noticed first when I got into the fourth gen test driving. When I sat down in the seat, it wasn't just, okay, I'm sitting in a car now. The bolstering actually existed. I'm not the tiniest dude in the world. I'm 260 pounds. So most bolstering doesn't do anything for me unless it's in a huge truck or SUV.
Right.
But with this car, it literally just hugged me right into the seat. And you're right. When you accelerate, you don't feel the seat kind of push back like with some other vehicles. And you may not feel that raw, immature power if you even want to consider it that. You just feel like a gentle push. And it's so comforting, but very dangerous and misleading.
Yeah, it can be. So Mazda wants to stir emotion, and they make cars that make driving matter. So what's one thing about driving this car that makes you like driving it more?
Every single time I take a turn, even before I got the front strut tower bar and all that, just every Mazda I've ever owned without even touching the suspension. And it's just gotten better with every iteration that I've driven and owned, just how it hugs the corners. I'd never feel that, oh crap, I'm going over the edge. I've pushed it too far feeling. It's just a nice, smooth transition in the corners. And I don't know what they're paying their engineers over there, but thank you, because every single car I've driven of the three Mazdas, again, stock for stock, it's been a vast improvement.
That's great. And I agree with that. I love finding a windy road on whichever car I'm driving just because it's fun. And, it's like you said, I mean, you don't have to put extra thought into going around those things. All right. Are you ready for the lightning round, Aaron?
I'll do it. I'll try.
All right. Well, what's your most favorite vehicle of all time?
All-time favorite vehicle is actually a Toyota AE86, the original Truno. So for all the Initial D fans out there, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And your most favorite Mazda?
Most favorite Mazda would be the FD RX-7. And yeah, I'm a purist. It's got to have the 13B, and I'll even go up to a 3 or 4 rotor, but it's got to have the Dorito.
Gotcha. If you could change one thing on your car and all future Mazda vehicles, what would it be?
Adjustable shifter heights.
Okay.
I know it's more of an enthusiast thing, but being able to reduce the throw, I think, would dynamically change the feel of the drive without adding any power whatsoever.
Right. What vehicle model, type, or style do you wish Mazda would make?
Well, they've already made it. I just wish they would bring it to the States. It's the
Okay.
BT50.
Right.
I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, grew up in Virginia. I may drive cars, but I still love trucks.
I think that's definitely something they need to look into, and maybe we'll see that in the next few years.
Oh yeah.
Haven't had much success of bringing some of that stuff from other markets into America for various reasons, but hopefully that's something maybe they can start fresh.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last question of the lightning round. How do you describe your passion for Mazda?
Intense. There's nothing more to say about that. I just love the brand a lot. I've contemplated getting a few tattoos about it, but decided against it just in case they decide to change the logo again, and then I'd have to explain it to everyone. But yeah, I've never had a Mazda in my life or even involved in my life that has ever let me down. Be it a friend's car, my own personal one, never been stranded on the side of the road except when I forget to fill it up with gas.
That's cool. I appreciate you sharing and taking some time this evening. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we say goodbye?
Just stay safe. It's crazy right now.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, Aaron, for joining us. And if you would like to be set up like Aaron and me tonight and share your Mazda passion and share some of your stories and insights, please drop me an email and we can get together and have a chat and spread more Mazda out in the world. And also, as you see right over my shoulder here, be sure to join the Facebook group, shameless plug, Mazda Passion Club on Facebook. You can look that up, and trying to develop that and grow that. And so a place that we can get together and share anything and everything. Fans, owners, we can all get together and talk about all of our vehicles. So we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, take care.